Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome to a beginner's guide. I'm just gonna do one of these for right now. I might do more in the future if I'm asked. I did get asked, and I feel like now would be a good time to kind of give a beginner's guide. There's a lot of people watching my channel, so a lot of people probably are new to the game or watching it for the first time, so I feel like this would be a good time to do a beginner's guide. If you do want to see kind of more in-depth beginning stuff, you can check out my Hirschfeld and probably Leighton Lake playthroughs. I do go into depths about certain things as well, and it's a longer period of time. So, to first off, I'm just going to talk about what's on our screen right away, which will be the compass in the bottom right, the binoculars, and for me, it is the zeroing in. You will not have the zeroing in when you first start off. You'll just have the binoculars, the compass, as well as your health bar, the heart icon, the kind of sight icon, and the sound icon. So, obviously, the compass shows you what direction north, east, south, and west is in comparison to where you're looking at. So, right now, I'm looking at the east, now I'm looking at north, west, south, so on and so forth. The little green arrow or little green cone pointing away from the center is the direction the wind is blowing. So your scent is being blown in that direction. So I am currently upwind of whatever I am facing at right now, and now I am downwind of whatever I'm facing at now. That will be useful when you're hunting and you're coming up on animals. Is you want to, especially if you're trying to get a closer shot, you want to come closer with the wind coming at you. So you want to come with the wind come with you want to come downwind of an animal. So that way they don't scare from smell. The next little icon is the little heart icon. That heart icon is your pretty much your breathing. So your breath determines how well you aim and how steady your shot is. So while it's white, I will show you. So fully zoomed out, it kind of is still wobbly. But when you hold shift or whatever button it is to hold your breath, it decreases the wobble significantly than when you aren't. So I'm just going to hold it while you can see the heart kind of beating. Now it's red. And that's what happens when it's completely red and you lose your breath. You can't hold on to your breath anymore. And so it will be red and increase. Your heart rate will increase. It's your heart rate. There we go. Your heart rate will increase as you're running around. And so when you're going to take a shot, you want it to have it as slow as possible. A little helpful tip is even if your heart rate's really high, like let's just see, get it to ready again. So your heart rate is really high, you can still take a quick shot and steady your breath. Even when your heart rate's already high, you can take a quick shot, steady your breath, but you have a limited amount of time. And it's the higher the heart rate, the less time you have. The next thing is your sight, or visibility. So obviously, the wider the circle, the more you're in vision of animals around you. So right now, I am 100% vision. They can see me from however far they can see me from anywhere. I am wide open. They can see me at all. If I stop moving, it's decreased slightly. They can still see that I'm there, but it's not as significant. Crouch, likewise, even more so, and it's up to a certain height. And then laying down, you're flat. They can't see you until they're pretty much on top of you. And the last one is this. So you're dang near invisible. Again, can't be seen until they're right on top of you. And then the last one is sound. Now the sound does affect obviously your hearing and the way you move. So going through louder brush will create the sound to go up red and be louder. Jumping as well, and just other things will increase the sound. So all of those will affect how you hunt in the game, and it'll affect how animals will spot you, how soon they'll spot you, and when they will run. So those are all things to keep an eye on when you are hunting. So now we'll go onto the map. So the map is, this is Leighton Lake, so it's one of the base maps. You get Leighton Lake and Hirschfelden. Pretty basic map. I believe you start somewhere around here, like somewhere around here. But you start, and it's all gray. It's all this color. It's all gray. So what I would recommend, now you don't have to do this, but what I would recommend is going through the story, and as you're going through the story, unlocking all the cabins, all the lookout points. That's all you really need, because the lookout points allow you to get vision of all the areas around you. The cabins let you fast travel to anywhere. So right now, I am in Ranaki, nearly the most southern point. I can fast travel to the northern point and be there instead of having to travel all the way up there. So that is one thing I would recommend, is getting the cabins and the lookout points. Another thing that I will point out in the maps are obviously the question marks that you see all around. Those are either stands or information points. Now, they don't really do a whole lot, or landmarks. They don't really do a whole lot. Landmarks and information points. Information points give you about information about the map, about the animals, and stuff like that. Landmarks are just significant landmarks that the story has that will have some information on that landmark. Stands are useful in the fact that you can kind of sit up in one. You'll be decreased. Your vision, or your sight, your vision will be decreased. So the animals that can see you, that will be decreased. They won't be able to see you as easily, as well as hunting pressure will go down. So when you take a shot, I'll point that out as well. When you take a shot, the hunting and kill an animal, the hunting pressure is not as high. We'll go over the hunting pressure when I actually go and kill an animal and I point it out. Another thing you'll notice is all the Z's, or the yellows, and the greens, food zones, and blues, the water droplets. So all these are zones for animals, and they all represent a different time when an animal will be in that area. So now it's not going to be exactly on the zone. I believe it is a 100-meter radius from that zone. So 100 meters around that zone, that's where that animal will be, give or take. And it'll tell you the time they'll be there. So I recommend when you're going out and doing any kind of hunting, you'd want to look for those zones. And I'll point them out as we go through it as well. So the next thing I will point out will be the weapons. Now I believe you start with a 270 and a pistol and a shotgun. Depending on how you want to play and what DLCs you have, we'll just go over the base ones first, which I believe are the 270, 7mm, 243, and then there's other ones. So I would recommend, the Ranger 243. Where did it go? There, 243. So you start, okay, so the Ranger is 240, so it's free. So you can get the Ranger 243, and you can start with the 270 Stradivarius, or the 270. So these are all the rifles, kind of, and it's an alphabetical order, and it shows you kind of the accuracy, recoil, reload speed, hip shot. So that's kind of all the information there on each weapon, and each weapon has a different kind of set. Like the 223 has 100% accuracy, so where that dot is will hit all the time, versus 270 where it's still going to be close to that center of the scope, but not always going to be there, especially if you're taking a running shot on an animal. Reload speed is how fast you're going to reload. Not too worrisome in this game if you're constantly reloading and keeping track of how much ammo you have. Recoil is how much kickback the weapon will have, so how far up the barrel will go after a shot. Hip shot is kind of the accuracy from the hip. And then it also shows the magazine, so how many rounds you have before you have to reload. So you have the rifles. You have handguns, which are so rifles are for long range. I believe up to, as long as you want, but standard will be at 150 to 200 meters, where you can just aim down a scope and it'll be in the center of the scope. Handguns are obviously closer range, and you have all these. You start with the Fukaso, um, which decent accuracy, decent recoil, quick hip shot, and I think the hip shot is actually speed. Like quick hip shot and reload speed does take some time. Then you get shotguns, which I believe you get the Cavern Chaw. Maybe. Oh well. The other shotguns, which are for birds as well as small game like rabbits. Now, yeah, we'll go into that later. But small games, birds, rabbits, you can also use them for bigger game, as I'll talk about later. And then last but not least, you have bows. You obviously won't have crossbows or these bows unless you have the DLCs. You'll start with the Bear Claw Light and the Hawk Edge, I believe. And those are the only two you'll have if you don't have any DLCs. Both pretty, um, both pretty much the same. They do have a difference in draw weight, which gives a little bit of an edge, but it also kind of has different accuracy. So now the ammo will tell you what all. Give me a second. The ammo will tell you what classes of animals that it can hunt. So we'll go with the 222 or the 22 250 soft point tipped. Just right off the bat, goes from classes 2 through 4. So smaller game, and then 22, which is good for small game. So the 22 rifle is good for ducks and rabbits as well. Then you have the 243, which is at the base ammo that you'll get and what you would be using for the most part. I would recommend using the soft point for a bit and then going to the polymer tip. The different types of tips means an animal will go down quicker and it has more penetration. So if you're farther away, you want more penetration so it can go in further and hit the vital organ. However, if you're taking shots closely, then you can still take the soft point billet and be okay. Now, soft point tips are good for 2 through 6. So from from smaller game to medium sized game. So obviously, as the image here describes, you got fox, small deer, pig, wolf, elk, or larger deer. Then you got 273 or 270, sorry, which is another gun that I would also recommend you having. And again, soft point versus polymer is the penetration. And it is more that medium class to slightly larger. So we got bear, pig, wolf, big deer, elk, or moose. So bigger game. Then you have like the 300 Magnum, the 300 Magnum, or the 338, or the 470 Nitro, which is for the biggest game, which is class 9, which would be like buffalo, bison, and stuff like that. I think lions as well are up to class 9. I'm not entirely sure. I don't have them all on me right now, but that's for class 9. So those are all kind of the weapons, and obviously each weapon, you can see what a item, whether it's a weapon, ammo, or sight, what it is compatible with. So it'll tell you what it's compatible with, and you know that it will work with that. So that's pretty much all the ammo. It's the same thing with the handgun ammo. You kind of go through, and then the hard nose case is just more penetration versus the hollow point, which is for expansion. So long range, short range. Shotgun. Shotgun is a bit different. It still has the same classes 1, 2 through 5, 4 through 8. I do not believe they have any for 10. Yeah, no. The max they reach is 8. Which is all fine. Then there's 12 gauge, 16 gauge, and 20 gauge. Now, there's really no difference between like these ones. There's really no difference. I believe it is different different weapons use different ammo. So they're all pretty much the same. It just depends on their class. Arrows, same thing. You only get 3 arrows. You'll get the small grain arrows, which is the 1 through 2. Then you get the broad arrows 2 through 7, broadhead arrows 2 through 7s, and the 600 grain broadhead arrow, which is 7 through 9. And rifle sights. I would recommend getting the highest rifle sight, which is a Hyperion. My bad. But obviously, you won't have that right off the bat. You'll start off with this one, and it's still a good sight. It's still a really good sight, and it's quite useful. Handguns, similar thing. You'll get these when you unlock them, and you get points from weapons as you use them. Bows, sights, shotguns, bows. Similar thing, all the same thing. Just pretty much helps you aim easier when you are looking to shoot an animal. So collars, you have lures. You have collars, scents, and decoys. Collars obviously are noise-making things that will bring an animal in, and it'll tell you what species it affects, the range, how long it'll last, and attraction strength. So yeah, they have all sorts of ones for all sorts of animals that you can use, and it describes what they do here, as well as tells you the range and duration here for everyone. Scent. I don't personally use scents a whole lot, but they bring in animals as well. So you'd use a specific scent, and an animal will come towards you. Similar to collars, I think it has a bit of a higher attraction rate or strength, but it's pretty much the same as a collar. Only I think it's longer duration, range is about the same. Decoys. Now decoys are mainly for waterfowl. I think they're only for waterfowl and turkeys, and they're just things that you can set up and have animals come to. So, say for these geese or whatever, bean goose or Canadian goose, what you would do is you'd set them in an area, and the geese would come to that. You can also use the collar, and the geese will come. Consumables: first aid kit and scent eliminator. Now, first aid kit you can buy. I don't use them very often, but animals do attack as well as there is fall damage. So it's not a bad idea to have some of these in on hand whenever you need it, especially when starting off, because if you're starting off and you're far away from a cabin, you don't want to have to be fast traveled all the way back because you end up dying. Scent eliminator I use, and it is helpful, is slightly reduces the intensity of your odor, so you can get closer to animals. So you can get closer to animals. So I like it. It's quite useful. You can use it, and it helps with your scent. So if you're upwind of an animal, you can use this, and it will reduce your smell, and you're able to get closer. Clothing. Now this is just clothing. Obviously, it's just how you want to look. Um, how you want to look for as you're hunting. Backpacks. I would not recommend backpacks at all because it increases the noise you're doing. So it shows you here increases the noise, tells you how much weight you can carry, as well as increases your invisibility. So, albeit yes, you can carry more things, but it also increases your noise. So I would not recommend a backpack really at all unless you are specific for what you're hunting for or you're setting up stuff. You're going around and setting up stuff. Binoculars. So you'll start with, I believe, just these. No, you won't. Yeah, I think you'll start with these Apex View binoculars. No, stupid. Start with these ones. Vintage 8x14 binoculars. And as you increase in levels, right here, you'll be able to get these rangefinders and this Apex 7x42 binoculars. These ones I like more because they have a built-in rangefinder within them, so you can have more accurate estimations of how far away the animal is. And I'll go more into that as well. And now these are just tents, ground blinds, and stuff like that. So all the blinds and the stands work as the kind of stands that you find out in the field. It's just you can set them up wherever you want. Tents work as cabins. You can set them up as well wherever you want. So storage shows you what weapons you have, and your inventory shows you what weapons you have on hand. So this is all the weapons you own. This is how much you have on hand. Now, you can only carry so much. I believe the base is 20 pounds. I'll go with probably less than that, but it's 20. That's the base. So you have to limit what you have and what you bring with you. And each item has their weight in the bottom right corner, right there, as well as some other information. So all you have to do is click on it, drag it over, and it'll be in your inventory. You have to do that with your bullets as well, your ammo, your scopes, collars, and anything else you want on you when you're out in the field. You have to make sure it's out of storage and in your inventory. Characters, this is just how you can edit your character and add backpacks if you want it. Trophy Manager shows you the trophies that you've done, your latest harvests, and just your latest trophies that you kept. Garage is if you have the DLC for the ATV, is that. Same thing with the kennel, is your dog. So, that would be pretty much the basics for starting. And I would recommend kind of learning those things as you go along. Again, I highly recommend hunting and going along with the story and feeling things out for yourself so you can get an idea of how the game feels. So now, I'll pull up your map, or when you press escape or whatever brings you the menu, you have the map, mission logs, which tells you the missions you have, with each information about the mission, inventory, so what you have on you right now, and your weapon wheel. So I recommend, or not recommend, so you do have to drag each weapon to the spot that you want it. So it doesn't automatically come equipped, you have to equip it yourself. Same thing with the ammo, sights, lures, and everything else. You have to drag it from your inventory to your wheel so you can use it. And your ammo, you have to drag it. So if you put a weapon in here but not the ammo, you don't have any ammo. I've seen that happen a couple times, so make sure you check that when you go hunting. Now, skills and perks are all things you get as you level up. And skills will affect how you hunt and how you learn to hunt, kind of, and how your body affects the environment and how the environment can give you information. There we go. Yeah, that'd be a good way. So you can take a picture of this. I'll leave it up. This is what I have for the stalker skills, and this is what I have for my ambusher skills. I do talk about each one of these in the playthrough. It's not all at once, but it's all throughout the playthrough. If you do want me to do another video, let me know down in the comment section below, and I can do a video on each one of these if you guys would like me to. But for right now, I would recommend kind of going through it, reading it yourself, and seeing which one fits you the best. This is just my setup and what I like. Whichever one fits you the best, I recommend you going through and checking out for yourself. Then you have your codex, which gives you information about each map that they have, as well as your own hunter profile. So it shows you your level, your skills, your perks, what you have in each. Oh, I didn't really talk about the perks, did I? Sorry. Perks are what affects your weapons. Perks are perks for your weapon. So again, I'll let it sit here. You can take this picture of this if you would like. For each one of these, you are limited to a certain amount of perks. But again, I'd recommend you reading through each and every one of them, kind of understanding, and then see which one fits your playstyle the best. I think that's the best. I think that's the handiest way to use these is to what fits your playstyle the best. Then back to Codex, you have your hunter profile, your hunting profile, so all your harvests, great ones, diamonds, so on and so forth. Animal scared, hearing, eyesight, all the information you want about your hunt, about how you hunt. Hunting log shows you your history from the highest trophy rating to the lowest, and then your latest hunts are your latest hunts. And then each information about each of the maps and the wildlife in order and tutorial log if you ever need it. See, trophy lodges if you have the DLCs for the lodges, and actually, never mind. You get a Leighton Lake Trophy Lodge, which with only 10 plaques and 9 stands. I believe you can only place certain animals there, and so it's still a useful trophy lodge, and it's nice to see your trophies. This is one DLC that I recommend getting is the Sasuke Safari or the Spring Creek Manor DLC. I only have the Sasuke Safari for right now. I might get the Spring Creek later, just because it's nice to see your trophies and to put them up instead of just knowing that you got them in your trophy lodge or in your um oops, wrong thing. In your hunting log, in your history, or your latest harvest and stuff like that. I feel like it just feels better to be able to see them. Hunting Club Beta is just small little events that they have going on with little missions that you can do to earn extra money. And this just allows you to change the settings of your gameplay. So interface lets you change all sorts of stuff, video, so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's get hunting, because that's what we came here to do when playing this game is to hunt. Now I recommend when you're hunting is using your binoculars pretty frequently. Kind of wherever you're looking at, wherever you're walking to, use your binoculars every once in a while. Whether it's the rangefinders that I have, or just the regular binoculars. These are really useful because you never know when an animal is gonna show up, and you never know where it's gonna show up. Having your vision like this, although you do have a good vision, it is nicer to be able to kind of zoom in, get a closer look, as well as it will show you. So we have deer right there. So with this, obviously I can't see anything. Pull up the binoculars, I still can't really see them. However, you have that ability to spot animals, and that will pop them up. So that is useful to tell you, kind of help you spot out animals from afar that you wouldn't see any other way. Like there, that moose. Wouldn't be able to see him anyway. Now, when you first start off, you won't have all that information given to you right off the bat. Like, I believe you'll have white-tailed deer, what it's like calm, what it's doing, and I believe the one triple. You won't have the weight, you won't have and the distance slash trophy score. So you won't have the health, you won't have the weight, and I believe you might not have what they're doing, like calm or stuff like that. I think you'll have drinking, one trivial, whitetail. But each information gives you, each little thing gives you information about the animal. So it's resting, so it's in a rest zone. It's calm. Its weight is 545 to 620. Each kind of, I guess this is going to be a long time. Sorry. So each animal has its class, which is in the top right corner, which is 8. So moose are 8 class. Then there are the levels. So the 4 easy. So moose go up to 5, deer go up to 3, and other animals go up to 9. The higher the level, the higher the trophy score, and the closer to diamond, which is what ultimately a goal is, to reach diamond. So now let's get closer to these guys, and we'll take a shot and kind of show you everything. You also you'll have a broad idea, so the 20, like the 196 to 248, you'll have that, but you won't have the exact measurements that's in the center. So what I recommend when taking most shots is to get a broadside, like what that doe is showing us right now, and take a lung shot. Don't worry about any neck shots, or stuff like that. Worry about the neck shots. So I'll go into that soon as well. But here, we'll just take this shot. So you see how it's wobbly? I'm not holding my breath. It's quite wobbly. Would I be able to make a shot? Yeah, probably. But it's still wobbly. So when you hold your breath, narrows it down real easily. Just like that. So now, as your perks increase, you'll get certain abilities to where you're able to take a shot and then take another shot and not have to get out of scope. Alright, so this is the kill screen that you'll get from every animal that you harvest, or harvest screen, there you go. From every animal that you harvest, shows you where you hit it, flesh, left lung, liver, stomach, what weapon, what ammo, the distance you shot at, the weapon score, so the score that you get added to your weapons. Also shows you the class, the gender, the weight, fur type, tracking distance, difficulty, trophy type, and trophy organs. As well as the trophy rating down here, harvest check, cash, XP, and session score. So now all these will increase with all the information. So quick kill bonus will increase the cash and XP. Harvest check, increase the cash and XP. Species difficulty, and consecutive harvest. So the more animals you get in a row, the higher that will go up, and the more cash you'll make. Session score just gives you a score in the session that isn't all too useful unless you're doing challenges in multiplayer. So trophy rating is what determines an animal. Trophy rating and harvest check is what determines an animal as silver, gold, or diamond. So those are the scores for whitetail. All animals have their own different scores, and once it's over that score, it'll be that that rate trophy. So silver, anything above 112 to 193 will be silver. 193 to 255 gold. 255 and onward is diamond. Now, harvest also will affect the trophy rating, or your trophy right here. You have to get all four of those. So proper ammo, animal shot 2 times or less, intact trophy organs, and 1 vital organ hit. You have to get all 4 of those to get the max trophy. If you don't and you miss one, you go down 1 rank. So say you get a 243, which should be a gold, but you miss the trophy, or you miss the vital organ, it'll be a silver. Or you hit a 258, it's a diamond, but same thing, it'll be a gold. So that will affect your trophy. So that is why you need to make a good shot. Now, you can also, I'm using a mouse and keyboard, so I right click, and it will show you an x-ray of where your bullet went and what organs it hit. So also showing there. Then you can either save harvest, taxi it, inspect it, well, it just gives you a closer ability to kind of see the shot where you shot it from, or if it had a trophy, see the antlers more closer. As well as if it is, let's see if we can get a buck here, and I will discuss it more. Alright, so here we are. Obviously, I'm just showing you how useful the binoculars are. Walking around, looking. You don't see much. You can see them in the center of the screen because they're in the center, but if you're looking around really quickly, you're not seeing them. However, you pull out your binoculars, boom, whitetail. So we got a pretty decent sized male right there. He's 231 to 272, so easily a gold, possibly a diamond. Very unlikely though, because of the 2 minor trophy rating or difficulty, and that deer go up to 3, and that's diamond. Or whitetail deer go up to 3, so that's diamond. So he could be it because of the trophy score, but unlikely. So we do got some other ones here as well. However, this is mainly just so you guys can see the way that the trophy system works and true racks work as well. So it's down right there. Easy, simple kill. All the other animals are leaving. Now again, you won't be able to hide them with the scope. I'm kind of showing you that with mine. You won't be able to highlight them with the scope when you first start off. That's another perk. Or that's another, yeah, it's another perk. So it's just something you can edit into your loadout if you feel like it. So, as you can see on the ground, you can see a bunch of footprints, a bunch of highlighting stuff, and a bunch of information that pops up in the top right corner. This all is just shows you what animal they are. When you press on it, it'll show you what animal they are. I believe whether they're male or female. They won't show you the weight. They won't show you what they're doing. Actually, it might just show you the animal and whether it's a chat or not, and the class. So you won't see the weight and you won't see the gender. But this is what a drink zone looks like. So each zone has a different look. These are what you want to look for. It kind of has those multiple white bars coming up versus a track, which just has a few. You know, a few for a couple here or there. So now you can tell if you hit an animal good, not just by how fast it drops, but as well as the blood. So vital organ blood looks like that. A medium non-vital organ blood, so smaller splat, and then non-organ at all is just a small little red dot. Not small red dot, but smaller dot. So let's collect him. He is a gold. So pretty good looking gold. And inspecting, you get to zoom in closer, see more of his antlers, and stuff like that. So trophy type, antlers, trophy organ, skull. So I didn't want to hit the skull. Now it shows you with antlers with horns, you can see, or animals with antlers or horns, you can see the true score, which is the kind of what determines the score of the trophy rating. So this is what the real kind of realistic trophy score would be for all animals. So not a bad one. Let's collect him. But yeah, I think that's pretty much a good beginner's guide. It's quite long. I'll probably trim it down a bit, but we'll see. But this is a pretty good beginner's guide. Gives enough information about it, but also leaves a lot of it still to you to learn. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you want more videos like this, let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to subscribe. It does help the channel grow, and I will see you in the next one. Good times.